So thank you so much for doing this interview. I'm really excited about the event and like, you know, seeing everybody's work because this is a really good way to do that. I think this platform is really fun. So yeah. So yeah, just tell me first about your business and about you and like, yeah, what you do.
Yeah, I started Beego when my daughter was 6 months old and I was staying at home with her and I wanted to try and find a way to kind of continue to stay at home while making money. And so now I stay at home. I don't know if the making money but it definitely has made it more flexible.
Yeah.
But
so how old's your daughter now?
She's 5. She just turned 5. So it's been a little, like 4.5.
Wow.
And I actually, right now, we make kind of like eco-friendly swaps is the kind of like core of what we make. So we make cutlery pouches and wet bags and straw pouches, and we just started making these little clip-on mask pouches, and everything has a waterproof lining. So it's really one other thing that happened when I had kids was I was like, everything needs to be machine washable. If I can't wash it in the machine, I don't want it.
Yeah.
So everything, which is also very important to me because if something tells me to air dry it, I literally just dry it in the dryer and see what happens.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really cool thing about what you do is you evolve with kind of your needs of your family as well as what's happening in like the world. So you've done like the mask stuff and then like the mask bags. So you're always looking for ways to kind of do fresh and new stuff according to what people want, which is really
I think pretty much all of our products have been created because I was frustrated with what was available. So like when we started cloth diapering, I had to pick some wet bags for when we were like out, and I just thought they were all so ugly. Business taught me how to like I would make like envelope closure pillows, so like 2 lines. That's all I had to do, and that so it's been kind of fun because I sometimes I feel limited by my confidence sewing, but sometimes it really helps me problem solve because I make things that I can like wrap my head around, but that are also kind of like well engineered to be simple for the user too. So I think it's helped in the long run. And then we started making snack bags for the same reason. I say we, but back then it was just me. Because I was just grossed out by how many like Ziploc bags I would go through in a week. And I got a couple, back then it was like, it's amazing how much stuff has changed in just like 5 years. But back then, the only ones that I could find had kind of like it wasn't a waterproof lining, but it wasn't cotton. It was kind of like gross. And so I was like, I'm gonna make a better one. And then we started making making snack bags. So, and that's kind of grown from there, where I would be like out and not want to use, like we would go to a restaurant that had only reusable cutlery, and I would think that was dumb and didn't have anywhere to put it, and so I would sew a bag for it, and then I would like test it out for a year and finally start selling it. So that's kind of how things have grown.
Yeah, it's such a nice like natural way to do it too, because if you're excited and interested in something, then you want to develop it to your level of okay. So let's see, I also wanted to know the origin of the name, like where did Beego?
It's so much like a part of my life that I always forget that it's like kind of weird and but so my maiden name is Follensby and my married name is Gomez, so it's kind of the end in the beginning, and it kind of, I wanted it, instead of trying to think your business name is who you are, because the products that we make, what I do, and I've always loved to make things, and I couldn't think of, and luckily I didn't name it anything very specific to the product that I was making, because that's changed a lot over the years. But I mean, it felt right when I was kind of brainstorming at the very beginning. So
it's smart to do that, isn't it? Because you never know in entrepreneurship which way things are going to go. So when you're talking about things have evolved a lot, kind of, and you talked about maybe the like cloth diapers and things like that at the beginning. So did it start out as something that was geared more towards like your children and like being a mom specifically?
So the very first time I ever sold stuff that I made and kind of like decided to like open a business, and which meant like an Etsy store that no one went to, was that I actually started with stationery. I would make like washi tape greeting cards. So each one was like one of a kind, and they were kind of abstract, and I still really like them. But letter writing, sadly, is something that not a lot of people are doing. And just like doing kind of like interior design services for a while, because that's also something I really love. So it was just a whole hodgepodge of like, how can I make this work? And now over the years, I feel like I've really streamlined to like what I feel passionate about and what makes sense for the business and for kind of like the core products that we offer. But it's been fun getting here.
It sounds like it's always kind of been centered on textile too, like pattern and color and things.
Yeah.
Something that your business revolves around.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. So, I was wondering, since you are a mom and you talked about like visiting around, you seem to be always like, you're with your kids sometimes and you have your like separate studio space, but your stuff keeps moving. Like it's definitely like, you keep going.
Mainly thanks to Spruce, who's my employee.
So that's changed too. It's grown into, how many employees do you have now?
I have two, plus my mom, who is sadly working very industriously, but not getting paid. So.
We love mom.
She won't let me pay her. That's my like business goal for next year, is to make enough to pay my mom.
That's a good
goal. Yeah, so it's me and two other people. One is full-time, one is part-time. So
how is that working with COVID? Do you guys work from home a lot?
Actually, up until 3 weeks ago, I mean, coming on Saturdays is like a new thing just that happened kind of like for my sanity.
Yeah.
As we go into the busiest time of year for businesses like us. So I'm hoping it's temporary and hopefully for not that much longer. So I'm trying to make do. But Chris is like my savior at this point. She's working 40 hours a week and keeping us going basically.
It must be such a relief to have, someone kind of with you. And I feel like, especially for small business, one of the hardest things can be feeling like alone in your idea creation and like, making things. So having someone to bounce ideas off of, I'm sure is really nice.
Yeah. It's it's hard. Yeah, it's definitely like we all got so used to working together in the studio that we've definitely been kind of like mourning the loss of that companionship. And like we're working on a project right now that for the end of the month, and it's the kind of thing where it's like, why can we not just sit next to each other? Like this is so frustrating to do.
So inefficient, isn't it?
It's just so like in addition to having less time than I used to have, now everything is just like clunkier and more awkward to figure out. So it's just they can do.
Well, you guys are doing a great job. I mean, and you guys have the winter stuff coming out. Is that already out, or is that for?
Nope, it comes out on the 28th.
Cool. Okay, great. Yeah, that's really exciting. So we'll see like kind of the lead up to that. And so
what
are like the offerings for this market and for the next few weeks? What are you gonna have around?
So we have in the shop right now, we have face masks. We have I'm actually releasing a new little batch of clip-on mask pouches that like clip onto your keys or to your bag or whatever over the next few weeks. So those will be around bring of wet bags and cutlery pouches and straw pouches and some earrings. And it's gotten to the point where I'm like, what else do we make?
I know. There's so many things and so many patterns and like beautiful. So it must be really hard to keep track of, but you seem like a really organized person.
Yeah, they're like my babies. I know them all.
Yeah, and like you probably dream in patterns.
I do. Eric and my husband can tell when I'm like thinking of a new product, because I won't be able to fall asleep because I'll be kind of like pattern drafting in my head and like trying to figure out like working through all the problems in my head.
Right. Well, that means you're passionate about it, so that's good.
Yep.
Those are good things that keep us up at night, right?
Yes.
Let's see. Anything else that you want to share about the business, or kind of how it's changed or evolved, or stuff that's coming up for you?
Yeah, I'm like a pretty hefty fabric stash because we used to be all made to order, and so we've switched. Like our whole business model now is ready to ship, which has made a big difference in terms of us being able to like the past like 9 months. Basically, we've just been working through a lot of fabric that we already had to kind of cut down on the expense of buying new materials. So this winter collection was a big push because it was the first time we had to shell out that like upfront money to make a collection happen since this has all started. So that was like a big scary push. But luckily, I mean, we shifted to mask making for like a good 6 months. And so that helped us kind of like use up a lot of fabric that we had on hand, so that we didn't have to purchase more, and it enabled us to donate being alive. So it definitely has been like day to day, just like every day is a new challenge, and it's exhausting. I mean, I think the whole world is just exhausted right now, but we're trying to make it work, and I'm so excited about this market, because one of the things that I've just been missing so much is getting to see customers in person, and this is the closest we can get. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I hope people come visit. I was going to say something about that, where that's a really good chance for people to see like all the textures and the colors that we make. You can see,
and like how fabrics, like if you're thinking about getting different fabrics together, like what they look like together, because that's tough to tell when you're just like toggling between screens. So.
I mean, your photography is really good, so I feel like the color matching is on point for sure. But there's something about, especially with like tactile things, like seeing them like that. So yeah, hopefully folks come visit and say hey. I know, we'll pretend we're at a market, you know, we'll have, like, virtually pass snacks around. It'll be all right.
Well, I'm just so excited about this, because for the past few months I've been telling my husband, I'm just being like, I wish that there was a way, like maybe I'll just make like a Google Calendar, and people can like sign up for like virtual shopping appointments, and I could just like sit in my like guest bedroom, which is our stock room, and and help people pick stuff. But I love that this just like is that, and I don't know how to figure it all out, but it's like all the good parts without.
It's good. Yeah, that's what this is. I hope people are going to use it today and in the following weeks, just as a way to shop virtually for the holidays. So we'll be here for a few weeks. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much. I think that's it for now. And yeah, folks can come visit and ask questions at any time and see what you make.